Hey, good evening. It's Tuesday, September the 22nd, and I was thinking today that I would do a video up, or maybe a series video, or start a series. I don't know. We'll see. I tend to be long-winded, and who knows how many tangents I can go off on in this conversation. But I wanted to do a series about transition at work and my experiences, and talk about some of the things that I had discovered through this process and that were maybe unique to my transition. But in any case, I wanted to share the information. I think there are some things that I would do differently if I were starting over, and maybe the information will help someone else. So my particular situation was that I started transitioning in April 2008, and I was not working at the time. I decided to take some time off, and I wasn't sure how much time I was going to take off, but I had taken quite a bit of time off just to start with, and like 6 months, and really had considered possibly taking quite a long time. As you can see, I moved into a very small place and minimized all my expenses and tried to get in a situation where I didn't have to work for a while, and maybe as long as I felt comfortable during transition. So then things started getting bad in the economy the fall last year, and so I decided to go to work. And I had been transitioning 6 months at that time on hormone therapy, electrolysis, and things like that. And I think I would classify myself as full-time me in July of 2008. So I had not really presented mail, or I was kind of just me, and when I went to apply for the job, I had to decide first off how I was going to apply, and I didn't feel very confident about myself and comfortable, so I decided to transition as male, and I pulled out all my old clothes, and I went to the interview, probably a little bit weird looking, but in any case, presenting male, and I had no conversations about any of that stuff during the interview process. And I might have done a video about why I did that previously. If not, if anyone wants to know, you can certainly send me a question. But once I got the job, I couldn't really just turn right around and say, oh, by the way, I'm transitioning, and you're going to have to deal with it now, or so I didn't feel like I could anyway. And the job was given to me with a 90-day probation period, which I think is standard for them saying. The truth of the matter is that anybody can, any job can fire you for any reason. I think North Carolina's at will work, so unless you're discriminated against under any current legislation, I think any other reason you can be let go or fired. But 90-day probation period, and so I worked, first 3 months of my job, and then that ended up taking a little bit longer for that actually to happen, to get my review. It was probably more like 4 months. So that puts it somewhere, I guess, around February of 2009, and I've been continuing to go through changes and kind of living a double life the whole time. It's kind of painful, but when I got my 90-day review, I notified my manager during that. He'd given me some really good feedback, and they were, definitely wanting to continue moving forward as a permanent position, and at that time, I told him that I wanted to notify him about some things that I was going through, and just start a discussion. And I told him I didn't really want anything at that particular time, but I wanted us to start talking about it and to maybe figure out a way long-term how that was going to work out. And he handled the conversation extremely well. He had never had any kind of conversation like that before, but he said all the right things, and it went pretty well. And he is primarily the person I work closest with at work, and he had thought about it for a bit and just determined that he was going to be my advocate in the process and try to gather as much information, and then he's a part owner of the company, so, and take it to his partner, business partner, and then kind of go through the management, and then out from there for everyone else. And so we that process took probably a month or two, and it was meetings with my manager and I, and we talked about, just free-for-all questions, like ask questions, get information, let's talk about things, what are your fears, what are my fears, and it went really well. It was a good process, and it definitely, all throughout that I felt like everything was going well. And at that time, it was a lot of, for me, thinking, well, what am I asking? What am I actually asking for? And I guess I wasn't very aggressive about what I wanted, and I was kind of taking things slowly and letting it feel it out. And that may work out pretty well, but I think it would have been better had I been more structured about what I wanted. But in any case, we get to the stage where he was going to take it to his business partner, and then after they had that conversation, which went really well, and basically it's not going to be a big deal, go throughout the manager, and then we also have another company that I support, and we went to that company and the management in that company, and basically we put together a plan that what we were going to do was that we were going to call a company meeting for both companies at the same time, and that I was not going to be there that day for that morning. And then they were going to announce that, and I'm not even sure what the wording is, but it was very short, basically that I was going through some changes personally, and that the management was working to make sure that our workplace continued to be a place where everyone could be successful and comfortable and happy, and that they were supporting me as well as the other employees and what they wanted to do, or how they felt about it, and they were kind of meeting everyone's needs as much as possible. And then at the end of that meeting, they said they were going to send an email to everyone, and in that email there was a letter from me to my coworkers, which of course